Hi, my name is Mike Helton, and I'm a shareholder at Rivero, Gordimer Company.
And my name is Patrick Goodwin, and I'm an audit supervisor here at Rivero, Gordimer Company.
Patrick and I just wrote an article regarding organizational and startup costs with regards to companies. And this is basically an introduction to that article. Hopefully below you'll subscribe to our YouTube channel Beyond the Bottom Line. And what we'd like to do is just talk a brief summary about what's in that article. Patrick, there seems to be plenty of differences between book and tax purposes with regards to organizational and startup costs. So if I'm a new business owner, I form an entity, and I'm acquiring costs prior to actually going into business, what is my treatment for GAAP or related book purposes?
Yeah, so for GAAP and book purposes, you're going to want to expense those costs as incurred. A few years ago, the Financial Accounting Standards Board, they came out with a pronouncement stating that all of these costs should be expensed as incurred.
And for tax purposes, the rules are very different, very opposite, quite frankly. There's several different code sections that define what are organizational costs and what are startup costs or pre-opening costs or acquisition costs. So even if I am in the pre-opening stage, incurring costs like for due diligence or broker's fees, investment banker fees, or other costs that are facilitative to acquiring a business, then those could be treated differently than other startup or organizational costs. So for instance, if I am purchasing the assets of a company, then those costs could be attributed to my asset cost of that company, as opposed to a startup or an organizational cost. For tax purposes, organizational and startup costs are amortized over 15 years or 180 months. But if they fall in line with other facilitative costs for the acquisition of either stock or an entity or assets of an entity, then they could be defined differently and taxed and depreciated or amortized to the allocation of that purchase price of those assets. So hopefully you'll read our article and subscribe below and call Patrick or myself if you have any questions about how to treat the costs as you incur to the formation, organization of a new entity. Thank you very much.
Thank you.